Hey guys, Brian from the SE Optimist. I'm doing another walk and talk today, and today's video I wanted to touch on a topic I blogged about recently. I think the blog was called Why Your IT Guy Should Not Be Your Web Designer. And in the video I'm not going to pick on IT people so much, but it's part of a larger point that I do think is really important, and it's something that I did want to talk about for a few minutes. Cross-discipline. Now, I'm not going to universally say that anybody who has a cross-discipline can't do good work, because I'm sure any number of the people watching right now probably have an example of somebody they've known where that's true. But I want to give a caution, or a criticism, if you will, that I think is valid. No matter how clever you are, it is hard to be a master at anything in this world. It takes considerable time, depending on who you ask. It takes 10,000 hours. And as hard as that is to do, and as much commitment as it takes to do, how much harder do you think it is to be a master at anything if you're doing 12 things at once? I've known a lot of people that were part of some multi-level marketing company, and they were supposedly a web developer, and they were supposedly a dog walker, and they were supposedly something else. There's just not enough time in your day to do it. Now, as somebody who works in web design and SEO and writing, all very complementary and related disciplines, I know to stay in my lane because I know what's involved to be good at the things that I do. I know how much changes in marketing every day, especially these days. I know in SEO how often a Google algorithm updates. I know how fickle the web design industry is in terms of what works, what is trendy, etc. And I know that if I have any hope of staying up on those things, I have to be on it every day. And if I succeed at this, the reason I do is because this is all I do every day. I'm in the industry, I deal with peers that are in the industry, I read articles about it, etc. And I have time to do that because I'm not trying to do 6 other things. But there's also a difference between a technically functional website and a website that actually has all the things needed to be successful. I am not convinced that if that person spends enough time of their continuing education every year to stay up on cybersecurity and all the other things an IT guy has to know, I'm just not convinced that they also have the time to be a master of marketing, enough to be worth people's money to trust them instead of an actual marketer with their website. Now, if they found some way to do that, hail to them, and I would like to see their Mensa card, because they figured out something that none of the rest of us can do. And I don't think anybody else really wants to be that real about it. And I'm sorry if I'm hurting somebody's feelings, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but to me that's just the reality of the situation. And to stop picking on IT people, that happens in so many fields. You'll see it in radio stations that also like to do websites. You'll see it in promotional product companies that also like to do websites. You see it in all kinds of things. Now look, these are big companies, so it's quite possible in those cases that they actually have staff and teams of people that are actually specialized in these disciplines. But I just think it confuses the issue for a lot of small business owners, and it just confounds something that doesn't need to be that complicated. I've looked at some of the websites these places create, and again, not trying to be critical just because I do this for a living. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but in a lot of cases, the SEO, quote unquote, that they do is very clear in reference to another video I recently did about your SEO is more than just a plugin. It's clear that when they say SEO, they mean I'm going to install the Yoast SEO plugin and check a couple boxes and hit save and done. That's not SEO. Sorry to tell you. There's a lot more to it than that. They write copy that's grammatically correct and say, I'm a copywriter. That's not copywriting. I'm sorry to tell you. There's way more to it than that. Now look, I'm not saying what I'm saying to profess to be some kind of guru of web design. I mean, I do study it most of my day, each week. But I'll tell you that I know enough about web design enough about lead generation and conversion, enough about color theory and all of that to know just how many websites miss the mark on all these things on a regular basis. You owe it to yourself when you're investing in your marketing as a small business to have those things in place. You're not doing yourself any favors to say I saved a couple $100 by going with a person who does 6 other things because he gave me a good deal. I'll share another quote with you. It's a platitude, but sometimes they get repeated for a reason because they're just good advice. It went like this. You think hiring a professional writer is expensive? Just wait till you hire an amateur. You can substitute the word writing with pretty much any discipline in it, and the point is this. A professional might cost a couple $1,000s, and it sounds like a lot of money, but if that actually gets you results and generates something and exceeds the value of what you paid in, that's positive cash flow. It was worth it. An amateur might charge you $300. Comparatively, it's way less money. It's a better deal. But if it gets you nothing, you threw $300 out the window. Was it a better deal? Anyway, I don't mean to be so negative about it. I'm not trying to pick a fight or anything, but I guess if I sound a little aggravated about it, it's just because of how many times I've come into a website project where somebody is saying, I've worked with 5 different people, they've all made me all kinds of promises, nothing has ever worked, and all these people have disappeared on me. Can you help me? I've come in, seen the website is a mess. Very rarely do I come in and I look at the website and say, wow, this is actually pretty solid. They did a pretty good job on it. I'm not really sure why it's not working. In almost every case, it's very clear why it's not working. And after a while, you feel bad for people. You get tired of seeing the same crap happen over and over again. The same promises get made, etc. And so you can consider this something of a public service announcement, I guess, in that regard, because I see it happen all the time. And this isn't a sales pitch. I'm not saying I'm the natural answer instead. That's fine. Work with any web developer you want. There are certainly web developers that know a heck of a lot more about web design than I do. But I would urge you to pick them. Pick somebody who is an expert, who spends all of their time being a master and understanding the stuff that matters. And take at least a little time to educate yourself on the major bullet points that are needed in web design so that you can make a better decision when you're picking somebody, that you can feel good that they're a person who's actually going to do those things. Hope this was helpful for somebody. Again, it's Brian from the SE Optimist. Catch you in the next Walk and Talk video.